Hi everyone. Today I'm going to show you a traditional Egyptian recipe called Hawawshi. In Egypt we make it so big and stuffed with meat, but today I'm gonna make it nice and small, and yeah, so let's get started. So first I'm gonna start with the bread that we're gonna stuff it with the meat. So I'm gonna need all-purpose flour and olive oil. You can also use bread flour if you want, and salt, sugar, and some yeast, dried yeast or instant yeast, whatever you want, and warm water. I'm gonna start by dissolving the sugar and the yeast in some warm water, as I told you, and then I'm gonna cover this mixture, and then I'm gonna let it rest for 10 minutes. Now in my stand mixer bowl, I'm gonna put all of the ingredients. I'm gonna knead my dough using my stand mixer. If you wanted to knead it by hands, it's fine. You can knead it by hands, obviously. And now I'm gonna start with the low speed and make it higher as I go. And then I'm gonna see if my dough needs any water. I'm gonna add some water. This dough is a little bit tough because it's a bread dough. So yeah, it's a little bit. So like it's not sticky at all, and it's a little bit tough. Now I'm gonna put it in a bowl, and I'm gonna spread some oil over it, and then I'm gonna let it sit for like an hour. And now I'm gonna let it proof in the kitchen. After an hour, I'm gonna start to work in it. So I sprinkled some flour over my working surface, and then I'm gonna start to roll my dough in very thin, like it's a thin layer. It's in the thin side more than the thick side, and using my cutter, I'm gonna cut them in small circles and squares. In Egypt, we make it very big, like a big kind of bread stuffed with meat, but I want this time to make it nice and small, as you can see. And then I'm gonna put them in a tray that I spread some flour in it, and I'm gonna let it proof again for 20 minutes. And here I cut it using my square cutter, as you can see. After 20 minutes, I'm gonna start to cook it over a medium heat, medium flames, and then I'm gonna keep flipping it to end it up with something similar to pillow. I'm gonna keep flipping it over and over again. As you can see, I'm not gonna overcook it because I'm gonna cook it and when I filled it with meat. So yeah, I don't want the bread to burn. So this is enough, and then I'm gonna put it in like a dish that I put like a clean kitchen towels in it, and then I'm gonna cover it immediately with another towel. Here, when I done, it looks amazing, and it is not overcooked. Now for the filling, I have some red onions. And for the seasoning, I have black pepper and a mix of spices. I'm gonna write them down in the description below. And I have some chopped chilies. They are optionals, but they give the Hawawshi real good taste. And here I have some ground lamb. You can use ground beef, but it has like to have 20% of fat in it. And I'm gonna mix everything very well together. Now to stuff my bread, I'm gonna use a very thin knife, as you can see, and then I'm gonna make like a cut in my bread and start to fill it with the meat. I'm gonna fill it with a thin layer of the meat because I'm gonna cook it over the stove. So I want the meat to cook. If you're gonna cook it into the oven, you can fill it with more meat if you want. And then here when I done, as you can see, it's very thin layer of meat. And now I'm gonna spread some oil over it and start to cook it in a very low heat. I used my grill because I like the marks when the grill burnt it over the bread. So yeah, if you can cook it over a pan, the original pan, if you want. It's up to you. And here when I done cooked them, they got really nice color all the way around. For a bready presentation, I'm gonna start to put them in my bready dish, and then I put some parsley, fresh parsley around them. Here I put some fresh parsley over around them and some pickles. I used the carrot pickles. You can use like the cucumber pickles, but please eat it with pickles. It tastes amazing with it. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and bye.